We talk a lot about market disruption, right? But today we're diving into something a bit distant, a phenomenon where an underground economy just completely rewrote the rules. You know, for status, distribution, turning simple transactions into this, well, this exclusive high-end club almost.
Yeah, it's less about just moving goods and more about like sophisticated network building.
Yeah.
It really is.
Exactly. So our focus today, based on the sources you sent over, is the New York distribution scene, specifically the rise of high balance distro, or RHB.
RHB.
And these sources, they really paint a picture like a masterclass in reverse engineering a luxury brand from the ground up.
It's fascinating stuff.
So our mission today is to unpack exactly how RHB built this incredibly successful, super exclusive network. They prioritize culture, really specific branding, and just undeniable status.
Right, and all while operating completely outside the usual rules, traditional compliance.
Yeah, totally off the grid in that sense. They basically created the ultimate high-end flex in a completely unregulated space.
And I think what's really crucial to get right away is that RHB didn't just become another distributor. They managed to position themselves as infrastructure.
Infrastructure. How do you mean?
Well, they're selling an experience.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, they're selling access. They don't operate like a normal business, storefront opening hours, none of that.
Okay.
Instead, it's all run like this meticulously vetted private network. And the high value they command, it pretty much relies entirely on this manufactured scarcity and exclusivity.
That immediately brings up a huge strategic question, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
the usual model, especially for commodities, needs accessibility. People need to find you. They need a menu, right?
The standard playbook.
So how did RHB even launch, let alone scale, with literally zero storefronts, no public menus? They started with basically no public presence, just a symbol and word of mouth. It's kind of wild.
Well, they tapped into their deep NY roots, moved fast across boroughs, Brooklyn to the Bronx, that whole area. But, and this is key, they treated it like a private club from day one, not retail. They actually made entry difficult, which sounds counterintuitive if you're trying to scale, right? But it was essential for their brand. It built that mystique.
So strictly invite only.
Strictly. And I mean strictly invite only. Anyone wanting in had to be vetted, then verified, and then formally initiated.
Okay, initiation. And that's where the tech comes in.
Exactly. That's where their digital infrastructure kicks in. Telegram is the main gatekeeper. The sources nail it, calling it a digital speakeasy built on trust, not clout.
Can you walk us through that? I mean, beyond just making it seem valuable, what's the practical reason for using a lockdown app like Telegram for vetting?
It's doing two things at once, really, status and security. In an unregulated market, you absolutely need anonymity and controlled flow. That's paramount.
Right.
So using Telegram as that bottleneck, it gives them tactical security, protects the network, protects clients from, unwanted attention or threats. But at the same time, it makes access scarce. Think about it. If you have to prove you're trustworthy, maybe even prove who you know just to get a link, that product instantly feels way more valuable than anything you could just walk in off the street and buy.
And humans love symbols, right? So the digital vetting needed a physical counterpart. Which brings us to maybe their most defining piece of infrastructure, that black high balance card.
Yes.
Yeah.
The card. It's like the ultimate identifier for the chosen few, the ones who got through the vetting.
That's the proof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
RHB basically took that exclusivity and turned it into a physical system. That black high balance card isn't just some membership perk. It's the literal key.
The key to what?
Insiders use it, flash it, to get into the exclusive pop-ups, the private rooms that RHB sets up. It's the same psychology, really, as like an Amex Black Card or getting into some super exclusive club. It shows you belong.
So it goes way beyond just branding.
Oh, totally. It is infrastructure. And it serves as, quote, proof of belonging and status in NY's underground. You're not just buying something. You're confirming you're part of this elite established group that, knows how to get things done. The card says you earned your spot.
Okay, this is where it shifts, I think, from logistics into culture. And this part is really fascinating. RHB seems to be this major cultural trendsetter. They didn't just move inventory, they actually set the aesthetic for the market.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
So tell us about the high yard era. How did they cement that reputation as innovators?
Right, the high yard era. Look, this wasn't just another product launch. It was more like a cultural shockwave. Their first capsule, it just completely flipped the city's whole perception of what distribution even looked like.
How? What was the hook?
The defining factor wasn't just the quality, though apparently that was high too. It was the packaging.
The packaging.
Yeah. Get this. Every single ounce came packed in a real messenger bag.
Wait, like a proper bag, not just branded Mylar.
A real functional messenger bag. And the sources are super clear on this. RHB gets the credit as the first distributor to give consumers the actual bag.
Wow.
And that one decision, seemingly small maybe, is specifically credited with kicking off what they call NY's bag trend.
Hold on. So the container, the bag itself, was the differentiator that let them charge, what, double the going rate? That's an incredible branding lesson right there.
It really shows the power of making something non-fungible, right? Traditional distribution, it's a commodity.
Yeah.
Price is tied to weight, maybe quality, basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But RHB, with this one move, unique aspirational packaging, they instantly shifted their product into the luxury goods category. The value wasn't just in the stuff inside the bag. It was the whole experience of getting it, the status of having that specific bag, knowing it came from this scarce source.
And that had real financial impact.
Oh, massive. Prices for an ounce jumped like crazy, $400 plus. They basically stopped competing on price altogether and started competing purely on status and presentation. That's the core takeaway here.
Mm-hmm.
Use packaging, use exclusivity to just bypass those normal commodity price limits.
So once you've built that kind of cultural status, that $400 ounce status, you got to follow up, right? You need a big flex to keep that perception of extreme wealth and power going. What came after the bag era?
Yeah, you have to maintain the momentum. So they scaled up the spectacle. They clearly understood that the perception of their operation had to match that premium price tag.
Right.
So that led to these really high-stakes marketing moves. Started with a huge collab with Eli the jeweler.
Right.
Massive frosted Rolex giveaway.
A Rolex. Seriously.
Seriously. And the source material makes a really crucial point here. It notes this was a real winner, real prize.
Why emphasize that? That it was real?
Because it screams legitimacy.
Yeah.
In a market that's probably full of smoke and mirrors, lots of imitators, RHB demonstrated tangible, verifiable wealth. And generosity, too. If you're charging luxury prices, you have to show you operate at that luxury level. The Rolex giveaway wasn't just marketing. It was like capital signaling. It proved they had the deep pockets to pull off stuff like that.
And then they took it even further, didn't they? With the cars.
Oh, yeah. The follow-up was launching giveaways for 4 Lambo Urus SUVs.
4.
4. Structured as 4 winners, 24 hours each with the car. The sources say 2 have already been claimed, 2 are apparently still out there.
Wow.
So this continuous high-value spectacle, it keeps the network buzzing, keeps them engaged. Now, RHB says the motive is all about giving back, which, okay, maybe. But strategically, it's definitely about constantly refreshing the brand's image as this aspirational powerhouse. Keeps the myth alive.
Okay, but to pull off that level of spectacle, I mean, the cinematic quality you'd need to really hype these drops, these giveaways, you can't just use grainy phone clips anymore.
Exactly. You need professional polish.
So that must have directly led to building their own production capability, right? Like a third pillar of their infrastructure.
Absolutely. They needed the visuals to match the reality, or at least the perceived reality, of the brand. So they set up high-balance production. Specifically, the sources say, to shoot real visuals. They recognize that modern distribution, especially at this level, is inseparable from high-quality professional media.
Is there an example of that? Like something specific they produced?
Yeah, the key one cited is their Zaborghini video. This wasn't just some ad, it was a statement piece. It proved they could market like majors.
Like majors, meaning?
Meaning the visuals were clean, cinematic, slick editing, professional lighting, clearly filmed with a significant budget. To an outsider, it signals a production quality you usually see from like international fashion houses or major record labels. It instantly makes the brand feel culturally significant, legitimate.
And they're not just doing their own thing, they're building alliances too, acting as a hub.
That's right. They seem to be the nexus, the central point for this private exchange, like their collaboration with Julato, another name in that scene for the Mr. Glitch and M's Glitch drops. Apparently very successful.
Okay.
It shows they can function as a platform, not just their own operation. If you're another high-status brand wanting to launch something impactful within that exclusive network, RHB is positioned as the indispensable partner, the gateway.
Let's talk about the structure behind all this. The precision, the spectacle, the branding. It sounds like a massive, coordinated, high-budget operation. Surely there's a charismatic CEO, a founder doing interviews, being the face of it all.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But surprisingly, and I think strategically, no.
No public face.
Nope. The sources really emphasize this. No public founder, just precision.
Mm-hmm.
RHB operates as this well-oiled machine, seemingly without a visible figurehead. They rely on the functional efficiency of the network itself. Their role is connecting NY's biggest private exchange.
But isn't that a huge risk long term? Operating without a figurehead limits media, maybe limits future growth or, potential compliance down the line?
It's definitely a calculated risk, but it has huge immediate benefits. In that kind of unregulated market, having no public founder actually decentralizes the risk.
Ah, okay. No single point of failure.
Exactly. No single person for regulators or competitors to target. So while outsiders might just see myth, as the sources put it, the insiders see motion, that distance, that mystique, the lack of a known face. It actually seems to enhance the perception of exclusivity and power. It makes it feel like an institution, not just one person's operation.
That choice then institutionalize the brand, don't personify it. That must tie directly into their core philosophy, how they operate day to day.
It does. Their philosophy is pretty explicit based on the sources, and it really underpins their success. Quote, RHB doesn't chase licenses. It builds legacy.
Legacy over licenses. Interesting.
Yeah. They seem to use every single drop, every collab, every giveaway as a way to just raise the bar for the whole market. They're choosing, it seems, cultural permanence over trying to fit into temporary regulatory frameworks. The goal is always to sell the experience of belonging, not just the product itself.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? Whether you're in logistics, marketing, business strategy, the RHB story is just this incredible case study, how to take a fungible, technically illegal commodity and transform it into a high-status luxury brand.
Oh.
And they did it almost entirely through, manufactured scarcity, brilliant branding, and this really sophisticated visual marketing that honestly rivals established legal companies.
Yeah, and the big picture takeaway, I think, is that RHB's whole model hangs on this idea that access is earned, not granted. By forcing that vetting, creating physical status symbols like the card, keeping up that constant stream of high-value spectacle, they built this self-fulfilling system. They totally separated their brand from just being about the stuff they sell. They proved that brand equity, that perceived status, can just demolish traditional cost barriers.
They really did redefine luxury distribution, didn't they? By focusing so hard on the network effect and building cultural capital.
Absolutely.
Which leaves us with a final thought. If RHB proved that exclusivity and culture can generate way higher prices, way fiercer loyalty than just having storefronts and menus, what does that suggest about the true power, maybe the latent power, of really sophisticated branding and controlled network effects? Even when you're operating completely outside the box, how much of that could actually transfer to high-end legal goods?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Something to chew on. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.